Hi everyone, this is Jeff Epstein, Citizens Media TV on Facebook, www.facebook.com/citizensmediatv. Me and Adrian started this after the Nevada State Convention. Our goal is to get the truth out, to broadcast what is not normally broadcast, and our goal at the DNC was to share with Bernie supporters what actually happens, what the news is not going to show you. So last night something pretty special happened. I don't know if special is the word, but so last night something pretty special happened, and we have someone that caught it from a pretty extraordinary point of view. So today I'm a Bernie delegate, by the way. So I went to the FDR Park to be with supporters, so we could actually, me and like 15 other delegates went to talk to supporters. And then after, and it was really special because they've been supporting us from across the street through fences and police and all this stuff. So we finally got to see them in person. It was really nice and emotional, and that's on Citizens Media from last night, what's the date?
Today's the 28th.
So the 27th, the night of the 27th, FDR Park. So after that, I went out and was just walking slowly back to the taxi to go back to the hotel. And I was almost immediately saw something really crazy happen from a distance. And the gate was blown open. The security gate was blown open. There was 150 cops outside of that gate. And then it was chaotic for a few minutes. But ultimately things calmed down after about 20 minutes. And I was reporting for a long time trying to figure out what had happened. And I got a lot of corroboration, so I figured out what happened. And it turns out that this young man actually got tape that no one else has. He saw it from a perspective well before it started. And we want to get his perspective of what happened, and then we're going to narrate the video for you so you can see exactly what happened. Tell us your name and welcome, and tell us your name and just give a little background about yourself.
My name's Sam Convert. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Basically, I'm just here because my dad decided he was going to go to Philly, and I wanted to go to Philly with him to support Bernie Sanders, and I thought it was going to be amazing to be here and make history and protest the DNC and tell them what we actually want, and actually tell them what the people who support Bernie Sanders really want. And it's been amazing, and there's been so much love and everything here. It's fantastic.
Actually, your father, Sam, is a fellow correspondent on Citizens Media TV.
Yes,
That's
sir.
how we met.
That is how we went.
So that's a pretty big coincidence. So give us a little background about yourself. Like, how did you get into Bernie, and how did you get up here, and you know?
So I got into Bernie actually mostly through my dad. He's the one who let me know about him, and then I started doing research about him, and he told me more and more about him as he got more and more into it. Which is kind of interesting because like nowadays, like the older generation informing the younger generation, when normally we talk about how the older generations are the ones that are out of touch. But he told me about Bernie, and I've learned more and more about him. I've gotten more and more politically involved with just actually going out and searching more and learning more about the candidates because of this election. Because of Bernie, I'm feeling the burn.
And tell us a little bit about tell us your age, and then tell us what you've been doing even before Bernie, as far as politics is concerned.
Okay, so I'm 22. I do home improvement for a living currently. I'm going to community college and just trying to get by and make my way in the world. In politics, what I've done so far, I haven't been like very, very political, but what I personally do and I've done since 2012 is I'm a chief judge in a polling place in Maryland, in Howard County in Maryland, which means that basically I'm the person that oversees a polling place and makes sure that everything is kosher and everything's going on exactly how it's supposed to. We're not handing out excessive amounts of provisional ballots. We're not doing wrong by the people. And it's a really cool thing to be a part of, and anybody can be a part of this in any state. All you have to do is go to your local board of elections and tell them you want to volunteer to be part of the election process, and they will give, and they always need volunteers, so you can become a part of that, and you can become somebody who makes sure the system isn't corrupt.
And so it's really nice to have a Bernie supporter as someone in charge of an election station to protect that little area against, you know, the potential nonsense that happened. And according to what you told me before, that there was a very minimal amount of provisional ballots handed out.
In our particular polling place, I think we had about 700 ballots that we did. It's a fairly small polling place, the one I oversee. We had about 700 ballots total that were submitted. We only issued about, I think, 5 or 6 out of that 700. Every time that a provisional ballot issue might have popped up, the people in our particular area were trained that the first thing that they had to do was call me over, or the other chief judge who was Republican affiliated. I was Democrat affiliated. You have one of each. So they call over that person, and we determine whether or not, based on the information that the person gives us, whether or not they have to file a provisional ballot. If they have to file it, we tell them that's their only option. If they're in the wrong polling place, they have the option to file a provisional ballot or go somewhere, or go to their proper polling place. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing, like I said. So we only issued about 5 or 6.
So, and you said that there was no pressure from like higher ups or anything to finagle a vote in any way for...
Not in my particular county. I cannot say that I saw any of that in my county.
That's great. So how many people were in your county total, that total population that could have, for your polling location, do you know?
For my polling location, the amount of people, like I think...
Or registered voters or whatever it is.
Okay, yeah, registered voters, I think we had about 1,200. I believe we finished the day like somewhere around 70%.
Wow. And do you know
Turnout.
what the Hillary-Bernie ratio was in your town, in your polling location?
You can't.
Can you know that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if I went to like the websites, I could find that out. But like, I mean, I don't know who the people voted for, because that's all.
I thought you would get an aggregation from your polling machines.
No. That's not. The polling machines don't tell you who anybody voted for at all. At no point is that information exposed to me. We give them a ballot. They go and they fill it out. In a privacy screen. Mm-hmm. Then they basically drop it into a scanner, and that's how it works in Howard County. You drop it in a scanner, it scans it, and it drops down into a ballot box. And we get the numbers of how many people voted Republican and Democrat.
But you don't get a breakdown of Hillary versus
No,
Bernie?
we don't.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right, well, thank you. I mean, thank you for doing that, because if we had more people like you in, you know, all these different places, maybe things could have gone a little differently. So.
Maybe.
Okay, so why don't you give us the background before that led you to Broad and Patterson last night outside of FDR Park? Like, what was your day before that started?
Well, we've been having a...
So let me give some background. So today is day 4, the final day of the convention. So yesterday was the 3rd day of the convention, Wednesday. Today's Thursday, the 27th, I think. And Hillary was nominated on Tuesday when the walkout happened. Between 500 and 1,000 Bernie's delegates walked out. I was caught up in it. I didn't choose to walk out, but I was caught up in it, so technically I was one of them. And then last night Barack Obama spoke, or was about to speak. I don't exactly know the timing. Mm-hmm. So today's the final day. So before this all happened, what were you doing earlier in the day that led you up to that?
So, as you mentioned, on the second day, that's when Hillary became the nominee. So you had all these people that turned out yesterday that were heartbroken, that were upset, but they were still there. They were still there because they're still fighting the fight. It's still continuing to go on. We're not behind Hillary. That's not what we're about. We're about getting our voices heard. We were not violent. We were not angry so much as we were sad to see that Bernie was no longer a feasible option at this point. We were at the main stage. We actually
In FDR Park.
At FDR Park
With all the supporters.
Yes, we had a few delegates speak there. They spoke out to us.
Oh, so you saw me on
Yes,
stage?
yes, I did see
Oh,
you
okay,
on stage.
and you were there as well?
Yep.
All right, we have someone here anonymous that might interject some stuff.
So we saw delegates speak. We got to speak to some of the delegates. They asked us what we thought, whether or not they should go back in.
That's awesome.
Or,
that was really special.
it was amazing.
That was really special. There's the live stream with FDR that starts the title FDR Park, and it was really special. The delegates came to meet the supporters that have been supporting us from across the street, with barriers and gates and concrete barriers and hundreds of police officers. We've been trying to hear their support from all the way across the street, and the supporters are like, I really wish I knew that the delegates heard me. And so we got 15 to come over and actually talk to them for a long time.
And it's amazing.
And then we went into the crowd. Afterwards, we were done. We just spent the night with them and just answered their questions and stuff. And it was really special.
It was amazing from both sides of it, because you have this wall that they've built between us, the people on the outside, and them, the people on the inside.
Right across the street.
Right across the street.
Three layers of gates. 3 layers of security gates. Concrete barriers.
3 layers of fencing, concrete barriers, a wall of police, and they just want to keep us separated. But it's so amazing for us to be able to support each other in this way, and being able to hear the people on the inside come out, and being able to hear how stressful it's been for them. I mean, you guys can hear my voice. Like, I'm hoarse from screaming and chanting and trying to support these guys. And I know it's been just as hard for them in there, if not harder, dealing with Hillary supporters and dealing with the backlash, and being able to both share our stories with each other and talk about how we both want to change the system, and being able to do it together, even though we're on 2 different sides of the wall that Hillary has built between us. It's super powerful.
Yeah, it was a really special thing. It was really special.
So after the delegates spoke, we had a candlelight vigil.
Let me ask you, before you keep going, just quickly, had you been at FDR Park the whole week?
I've been in there for parts of it. I've actually been in 4 marches so far.
Nice.
Down all the way from City Hall down here.
So starting on Sunday? Did you start on the Sunday,
yes,
original
start
Sunday
on
march?
Sunday, yeah.
And there were...
I did 2 marches on Sunday. The Go Green March, and I don't know that's not the actual name of it, but it was like the eco-friendly march. We were part of that, and we marched to Wells Fargo Center and then back, and then...
Back to City Hall?
Yes.
No, we went to Independence
Independence Plaza.
Hall.
Yeah.
And then we came back.
Yeah.
So you started at Independence Hall and then went to City Hall?
City Hall to
City Hall
Independence
to
Hall,
Independence
came
Hall.
back, and the second march started.
Yeah.
City Hall in the center of town to Independence Hall, which is on the east side of town.
We joined a group that was already there.
Then you marched back to City Hall, which is in the center of town, and then you marched for the main march at around 3 o'clock, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Down Broad Street all the way south about 6 miles, I don't know what it is. Down to FDR Park, which is in very south Philly, and that's right across the street from Wells Fargo Center and some other major sports stadiums as well.
Yes.
Wow.
And then actually...
So that was like your... Wow.
Yeah, and then actually I drove an Uber back up here, and then
Back up to City Hall.
I took an Uber back up to a place north of City Hall, the fire, saw Lee Camp. Then after I saw Lee Camp...
Oh, you saw Lee Camp, the stand-up.
Stand-up, and then we walked down... I walked back down to City Hall from there.
Okay.
And so a lot of walking.
Okay, and then so that's Sunday, and then just briefly Monday.
Yeah. Monday we did another march all the way from City Hall down to FDR Park. We stood around there for a while, and we did chants against the fence and everything like that. We just did our protests, and that was Monday.
So
Tuesday
she got the nomination.
On Tuesday we did another march. She got the nomination.
You interviewed, that was the walkout, and you interviewed a California delegate when the Black Lives Matter and the Bernie protesters met underneath the highway.
Yeah, we grabbed a cord for Sam, the videographer. We needed to get a cord for him. I ended up grabbing it from a guy named Eric, a California delegate, and then We talked to him, video interviewed him afterwards, which is on Citizens Media.
He gave you the cord, and then he was part of the walkout, so he told you what actually happened.
Exactly.
You interviewed him. Okay, so that's Tuesday night, and then Wednesday you were at FDR Park. We had this great.
Well, first we were at the Jill Stein rally around 3, 4 o'clock.
Right, and then you met Mr.
Mr.
Anonymous
Anonymous
over here.
If you wanna.
And he offered a place to crash.
Yeah.
So you ended up seeing each other for the Jill Stein thing, and then you walked. You made your way to FDR Park again.
Yes.
You were part of the delegate and supporters meeting, which I don't know if I said this, if it was cut out, so I'm going to say it again. It's really special what happened. They've been supporting us from across the street through all these barriers and police and all this stuff, and it was a struggle for the supporters to know that they were being heard, and it was a struggle for the delegates to communicate, to hear that support and to communicate back to them. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
It's been amazing for both ends of it. Whenever we're able to communicate with one of these delegates, which the police have been doing their not because it's the police force, but the DNC has been doing so much to try to prevent us from talking to each other. They've been making it so that the delegates have to go out certain routes so that they don't get to talk to us. They have three barricades of fencing.
In order to get across the street, pretending that there was no security, pretending that there was no cops, but with all the gates and everything, Wells Fargo is directly across the street from FDR Park, where the supporters are. In order to get across the street, you have to walk 2 blocks up, a block over, and then 2 blocks back to get all around all of the gates. It's pretending, not even talking about security itself.
Yeah.
The cops.
Yeah. Then we went to we were at the delegate meetup, and we had a blast just talking to you guys. We talked about whether or not we believed you guys should go back in or stay out, and what the results would be either way. We all had, and you guys listened to us, which was awesome. You guys heard our opinions, because you guys support us, and we both support each other. We support you, and you guys voice our opinions.
It was really special. There was about 15 of us. It started off with 5, and then it quickly became like 15 Bernie delegates. On stage, we briefly introduced ourselves and then answered questions and listened to this Indian gentleman who's been...
Andy was powerful.
Yeah, and we were struggling, like we were there for you guys, and we wanted to make sure that you guys were getting the information that you wanted, and he kept on talking, but it turned out that the audience wanted to hear him.
That's what we wanted. Again, like as they talked about, if you guys haven't seen it, it was such a powerful speech the man had. And
I was like, dude, we're here for the delegates. We want them to be able to communicate with us, but the delegates were, no, we're here for the supporters. We're here so the supporters can ask us questions and we can address them. We only have some limited time here, and he kept talking and talking and talking and talking, and the crowd was like, we want to hear him. Put my leg down. Okay.
Camera's
Sorry.
having trouble focusing, I think, because it's close.
All right. I will struggle.
Hopefully that'll stop.
But
So this gentleman was going on and on and on and on, and I was really like, we only have limited time. I want to get to the supporters' questions. We're here for them, and I tried to elegantly stop him, and the crowd was like, we want to hear him. His culture has been abused for hundreds of years. Yeah. Give him the time he wants, and he kept on going on and on, and now it's in a good way because it's exactly what they wanted. And he ended with this song, and these people were just like crying. Supporters, it was like, I didn't really quite feel it, but I was just witnessing all these people that were really feeling it.
It was incredible because he was a Native American gentleman. He was a chief, I believe, of a.
He must have been around 70 years old.
Yeah, he was much older. He was part of this tribe out in the middle of the United States, and he just wanted to have his story told about the fracking issues that they were having, about how they were trying to build the pipeline through their tribe, through their grounds, which we've already done enough of taking away from them, and it was just a powerful story. that he had to tell us, and we all wanted to hear it because of how long the Native Americans have been oppressed.
I was feeling
we're all the immigrants. Like everybody here is the immigrants. They're the people who came.
And you guys were finally listening to him. And honestly, I was too torn by all the trying to sort of manage that situation. I was sort of emceeing it, and so I wasn't really like into the speech because I just didn't have the time to pay attention. I was trying to coordinate all these other things, but I was just witnessing all of this emotion around me. And especially when he started singing the songs, just people were just like blubbering. It was really interesting. But we only had a half hour, and he really spoke for about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
so it was really stressful at first.
He spoke for a long time.
It was really stressful for me at first because I was trying to get all these people to be able to ask questions and all this stuff. So that's why I couldn't pay attention to it really. But it turned out that we canceled the next. They said that the next thing is canceled. You have another 45 minutes. So I was like, whew, gone, my friend. So, but it was awesome. It was just really special. And then afterwards, all the delegates went into the crowd and just talked to people because it ended up being so late that I wanted to just stop by and say hi to the supporters and then go to the convention. But it turned out to be so special that we were just like, we got to be here.
So after that, we had the candlelight vigil. After everybody was talking, like the delegates merged in with the people and we're talking to them. We showed a video on the screens, a movie. We had a candlelight vigil. Everybody was basically just the candlelight vigil for the death of democracy. Sorry. Everybody was just interacting, talking with each other, just loving each other and like showing their support. Everybody's sad. They're upset after what happened yesterday. How basically our democracy was stolen from us. All of these people whose voices weren't heard. All these votes that were just thrown away, whited out. Shredded, even. So we were all mourning together, and then Billy from Philly FYI got up on stage and said that we were going to move over and to continue our protest because the DNC still has to account for what they've done to us. They still need to know that we're still here, we're still fighting. Yes, you've chosen Hillary, and stolen that from us, but we're not going away. We're not supporting her. We're not choosing her. We're not united. Mm-hmm. She does not hear us. So we go over to the fence area where there actually is the gate and there's barricades and.
But you started a march.
Yeah, we started
a march. You didn't just go there. You started a march, and Billy
started a march,
and it was the coffin of the DNC.
Yes.
Could you briefly describe that?
The death to death of democracy, DNC coffin, is a bunch of donkeys around the outer perimeter, like the vertical perimeter of the coffin that are upside down, and then on the top it says DNC.
And this is a styrofoam. It looks real. It looks like a real coffin.
Big.
It's a life-size real coffin,
exactly.
But it's made of styrofoam, very thick styrofoam. Billy built it. I was on Philly FYI staff up until just last week from the very beginning. So I worked with Billy for like two months, organizing the marches and so on. And I sort of watched bits and pieces of him building the coffin. And it was just big pieces of styrofoam, thick styrofoam, and then he glued it and stabbed these big sticks into it to hold it together while it was being glued. And then it was painted with this DNC thing, but it was a full-size coffin made of styrofoam. So the march was led by Billy holding this coffin, which I'm only guessing. I wasn't there, but I believe that this is what happened. So you marched this coffin, sort of funeral of the DNC.
And then we got there. We started our protest. We were actually, me and Mr. Anonymous over here, were actually lagging farther behind because we were listening to the DNC voicemails that got leaked by WikiLeaks. We were going through all of them, just trying to pick them apart, see if there was anything actually interesting. Turns out there's like some stuff, but it's nothing incriminating. It was just kind of
just a lot of snotty-nosed people, as I understand.
Yeah, for the most part, like there was one lady who called Dr. West trash, and another lady.
And I can't believe that you're giving Bernie such favor. And
yeah, like I donated $300 to
by being fair. You're giving Bernie too much by being fair.
Oh yeah, so this one lady was like, I donated $300 on a fixed income, and I can't. Bernie needs to be off the ballot. Like I can't. I'm gonna leave the Democratic Party because you're doing too much for Hillary. which I think is
Too much
amazing.
for Bernie?
I mean, too much for Bernie. Sorry.
Too much for Bernie, which means doing even like remotely neutral.
Which I think is amazing because it means that Bernie has gotten to a point which he's infuriated Hillary supporters to the point that he's getting them to leave the party, not just us. So hashtag Dem Exit is not just for Bernie supporters. Apparently Hillary supporters are getting on board.
There you have it.
There you have it. So we were lagging farther behind because we wanted to be able to hear these over the chant. When me and Mr. Anonymous, we showed
We'll call
up.
him Nani.
Nani. Yeah, Mr. Nani.
That's a good name.
Nani. When we showed up, like we just felt it like in our gut. Like, why don't you talk about that, Nani?
Well, it was the first thing. As soon as we walked over to where all the rest of the protesters were, I looked at him like as soon as we got there.
Looked at him.
Yeah. I looked at Sam as soon as I got there, and I said, "Something's wrong." I was like, I can feel it in my gut. Something is going to happen. And as soon as we walked over and we're actually in the crowd, first thing we notice is a guy digging in his bag, and as he's doing that, he's grabbing out a full gas mask.
Okay, before you get to this point, do you know about what happened with the coffin?
No, I have no
All right,
clue.
I only know I wasn't there and really hadn't talked too much about it. But what Billy told me, or someone that was with Billy told me, is that this march went to the gate that we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So right on the other side is 150 cops.
Mm-hmm.
Not exaggeration, about 150 cops.
Oh, and also to add to that, there was on either side of us. The one of the reasons that we just had this gut feeling, we just started looking around, was there was a wall of cops over here, and we had a wall of cops over on our left hand side, and another wall of cops over on our right hand side.
But let's be clear about
Yeah.
this. We have the gate.
Yeah.
We have the supporters, the gate. I mean, this intense gate.
Yes.
It's a portable gate. It's
Intimidating
it's a
gate.
temporary gate, but it's a serious.
It's an intimidating gate.
Yeah. And then there's the Wells Fargo Center on the other side, across the street, and FDR Park is here. So we have FDR Park is in this corner. We have the Wells Fargo Center is across the street here. This is Pattison Avenue. This is Broad Street. City Hall, I believe, is north this way. And then we have the security gates all protecting the Wells Fargo Center. So the FDR Park is here, the main stage is here, the corner exit for FDR Park is here, and then this is where all the action happens. This is where the march leads to. And what I think you guys missed before, what you're saying with seeing people dressing up in black and stuff, is the coffin was brought to that gate. So here's the gate at Wells Fargo, FDR Park. This is where the action happens. And the people went here, there's 150 cops here, and other cops you're talking about were inside the perimeter with the supporters. What I'm talking about is outside of the perimeter, between the gate and that Wells Fargo Center, there was 150 cops here. So all the supporters are here. The coffin was led to about here. What we're about to talk about happened here. And the coffin is thrown over the gate to the cop side.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
They threw the coffin over onto the street in front of the cops, and the cops were perfectly fine with it. It was sort of expected, and I have a feeling they informed them, just to let you know we are going to do this.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
And no cops ran to it or panicked in any way, because they must have been informed. It'd be pretty stupid to not tell them. But one cop with a dog to sniffed it, left it alone, and that was that. That was done. I guess it was taken away. I don't know. Had to be. I didn't see it.
Okay.
And then now that's ended, and now we're getting into the meat of this. So now
That's probably, since we didn't see any of that at all, that's probably, we probably came over after that. And then that's when we were talking about how we had the gut
So
feeling.
you were at the back of the march. So
Yeah,
you just simply didn't see
we
it.
weren't even at the back of the march, like we were behind the back of the march.
So
we were lagging
it had
behind.
already happened.
Yeah.
And now you're working your way there. The coffin must have been taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And now.
And then, so like Nani said, we just had this gut feeling. We started looking around. We're seeing all of these cops. Like, we've been here all these days. The cops have been phenomenal throughout the course of the convention. They've been
I've heard
great.
nothing.
And this isn't about like talking down the Philly cops. They did an amazing job even with this breach. With
Oh yeah, we'll go into that totally.
Yeah.
But even with this tension-filled thing.
This was just like an intimidating presence that you just could feel in your gut. Like, you just felt something was going to happen.
With the cops.
with like you just felt something was going to happen like in the crowd, like something like.
So I want to be sure about this. So you're not saying you could sense something was going to happen based on what you saw with cops.
I mean, that was part of it. I think, like, because like you had the cop help. I feel like they felt that something was going to happen too, which is why you had this going on. Like the cop helicopter was already there circling before anything went down. You had the two ginormous lines of cops on the outside. You had the ginormous
within on the same side of the protesters.
Yeah, on the same side of the protesters. You had one over like way on this side. Like if this is where the fence is right here, you had a line of cops over here. You had all of the people here, and you had another line of cops way over here.
And thousands ready to come in.
And thousands ready to come in on buses with full SWAT gear.
What? Just say it.
Oh, he's trying to walk in.
Yeah, I want to get my stuff so I can...
So just do it. That's my roommate, Ivan, youngest delegate Bernie delegate in New Jersey. Welcome. All right, so you'll see him in the background for a minute. So, okay, so you said something was going to happen. There was a lot of cops on the inside of the perimeter, but not like among us. They were just on the edges.
They were present and they were there, but they were not involved at that time. They were not getting involved. They were not trying to break it up or do anything like that. They were just there to protect us and make sure that we were safe and that everybody was being safe.
And I want to be clear that I have never heard anything from beginning to end, including the incident that we're about to talk about, where there was complaints about the Philadelphia police. There's been nothing but positive.
Nothing but love for those guys.
They have been positive. There's been nothing but positive interactions with them, the Philadelphia police, all week long, including in this really intense situation that we're about to tell you about. That they were strong, but reasonable in their response, and I heard very minor contradictory information about that. But by the vast majority of it has just been nothing but complimentary of the Philadelphia police. So okay, so now you're sensing something's about to happen.
So we sense something's about to happen. Me and Nani, we pick out a few people. It's just us at this point. We pick out a few people, like you said, donning gas masks, people with bandanas over their mouths.
So I mean, you were just standing there, and just people right in front of you were just starting to don gas masks. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, as soon as we walked over into the crowd, the first thing we noticed was that, you get to see people digging in their backpacks all of a sudden, and they're putting on the gas masks.
And what do these people look like?
Well, I mean, as for what we could really tell, we couldn't see too much because they're wearing all black from top
But that's
to
what I'm
bottom.
asking. Not what they.
Oh
no,
yeah.
Now-
Yeah, from top to bottom,
So-
all black.
So
And-
it's not just people digging in their bags.
Well-
It's people that are dressed in black, looking very different than everybody else,
Exactly.
that are digging in their bags.
Distinctly
for
different.
some people, you also had people that saw other people with their mouth coverings on and with gas masks on that also felt more like us. That I mean, I'm not sure that everybody that also wore these bandanas over their mouths were not necessarily with Anonymous. I mean, not sorry, I keep on saying Anonymous. I mean the anarchists.
And we don't. I haven't heard like verification that it was the anarchists, and I'm not even sure who that
So
is.
The black
but
garb people.
The people wearing the black garb.
Yeah, so we're not sure that everybody's with them. They could have also felt just like us. They see other people wearing these stuff, so they put it on themselves. We actually called Sam, who's part of Democracy Spring, and
Your father.
also yes, my father, who's part of Democracy Spring, as well as with you guys and Citizens Media. And I told him that stuff was about to go down, and he.
So you saw a bunch of about five.
No,
more
probably
than
not.
five. But to make it clear though, they were distinctly different. What he was talking about, other people wearing bandanas, that's just people
Yes.
sensing it just like we were, that something's not quite right. So they had it as a just-in-case measure.
Exactly.
But the other people...
Who had it as adjusting?
Well, the
gas
protesters.
masks and stuff? They
No,
were
the regular protesters, they had like bandanas. They had a feeling like if something went down, they were able to, tear gas or whatever it might be.
So these hyper conspiracy theory...
No.
These hyper conspiracy theory preparation people actually all of a sudden felt like...
Yeah, they even...
The Armageddon has come and I'm finally prepared for it.
Right.
Yeah.
They felt like, maybe I should have
There's
this.
other people with the masks on their face. Maybe something's about to go down.
All right, so how many people in black are we talking about?
So
It's
dressed in black.
at least lowballing a dozen.
That was in the particular group.
Dozen,
That's
okay.
in
The best
this,
I knew before you said that was about 5.
Yeah,
it was
in
about
this
a
particular
dozen.
group that's in this video, it's probably roughly a dozen. But as you can see in this video, you see the group that I'm following rushing the gate, but you also see other people rushing in from the outskirts. So I'm under the assumption, and you'll see also in this video, they actually had a girl with a megaphone that was chanting, and when she stopped chanting was immediately when they rushed. So I'm guessing they had other people throughout the outskirts of the group that rushed the same time, not just this, like they had this one group, but they had other people, other places. That's why
Hidden
the girl...
within the crowd of protesters.
Exactly.
But the core people who actually rushed the gate
Right.
was about how many?
About a dozen.
Yeah, and they were trying to,
Dozen.
recruit...
All dressed in black.
Yeah,
all
and
dressed in black.
they were trying to recruit other people while they were there. Like, we overheard them talking, and they were like, if you're going to do this with us, like, we're going to go over here. If you're not, you can go over here. We actually heard them ask if you have the water balloons ready, which were... there's lots of videos of fire breaking out because somebody threw something with... we're assuming that it was actually a water bomb with water balloon with gasoline in it. And
Wow, that's the first I've heard that. I didn't see anything with fire. I was right there.
There was a burnt flag, and that's all that I'm aware of.
Yeah, but the
there
burn
was-
flag
there
doesn't have
was-
to do with this, as I understand it.
There was actually gasoline on the ground. From what I've heard, one person might have gotten minorly injured.
This is the first time. The flag seems to be a completely separate incident.
Yes, that
Happened
was
at a
earlier.
different
Yeah,
time.
that's a
Flag is
separate-
not
that's a
related to
separate-
this
separate
incident directly.
There were
The
people...
water balloons, I heard about the water balloons as distractions. I had not seen any fire. I was there. I would have seen fire if it happened with the water balloons because I was there when that happened. I wasn't right next to where the gate was cut, but I was.
I don't know if the water balloons were part of it. I heard them talk about the water balloons, and then a few minutes later there was just a gas fire on the pavement.
I didn't see that at all. This is
And
the first
well,
time hearing any fire related to
there was
this.
a crowd around them. Like it was media coverage was all right there, and then there were people trying to set flags and signs on fire there. And we were,
During this incident?
it was about maybe 10 minutes after this. So that was probably about 10 minutes after, 10, 15 minutes after the actual break-in of the gate. There was a fire on the ground.
Wait, when say it again when it was?
Probably about 10 to 15 minutes after the gate got broken in.
This is the first time hearing. Okay.
Yeah.
So directly to the breach itself, there wasn't a fire like created as a distraction too. So they
No, it was after the fact, and I also have video of that.
Okay.
As well.
I'm curious to see that, but
Yeah.
this is the first I'm hearing. So let's focus just on
Yeah,
the actual
this
moment
video,
when the breach happened.
So
My understanding is that water balloons were thrown over, not gas, but just regular water balloons were thrown over as a distraction. Then-
we did not see that part of it. What we were focusing on at the time was the group of people just clad in black, because we saw them. We just knew this was going to be the group that was going to start it all. We started talking with them. As I told you, my dad's with Democracy Springs, so he told us what we should do is go around the perimeter, look for people who could cause problems, just talk to them, just like see what they're there for. And we tried talking to...
Now, your father, Sam, right behind the camera,
Yes.
suggested this well before the fact or in the middle of the situation?
This was probably roughly about 10 minutes before, 10, 15 minutes before it actually happened.
Sensing something?
Yeah,
Okay.
we were there for about 20 minutes before it actually occurred. I started videotaping about 4 minutes before it occurred. Before that, I was just going around talking to these other people with claws on their mouths, with bandanas on their mouths, and just making sure, like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, what's it about? And like I said, a majority of them, I was just getting like they sense a danger as well, and they just wanted to keep themselves safe. And then we saw this group clad in black, and Nani was like, "Let's stay away from that."
All right, so we've gone through the march, we've gone through
Yeah.
all this history stuff. Now you're starting to see people
Then he calls, right?
Yeah. Then I
calls.
Yeah, I called before.
So we're out of the FDR Park. The coffin was thrown over. The styrofoam coffin was thrown over, and it all went well. and now you see the people in black, and you sense something's going on. You see them, and what I actually see in the video is someone going like this, as if to, this is what we're going to do, like sort of rehearsing.
Oh yeah, like they were definitely going through with, like they were going and talking about what was going to happen. Like I said, they were trying to recruit other people into what they were about to do.
Did you see them coming in? Did you see them like?
I did not see them arrive.
You saw them just being there.
I saw
They
them.
were there because we arrived late, obviously. We
Okay,
walked in
so you just
later
walked
on.
into the
So
middle
when
of it.
we walked over, they were already there.
Yeah.
But what we assume, though, is that they went with the protesters. So they were hidden, at least some of them we know, were hidden within the crowd of protesters and walked with us.
And we also know about
From FDR Park.
Right, from FDR.
and I'm not and you weren't there. Also, I forgot to mention about this when we were at the main stage with Billy and all of them. We don't know if this person was affiliated with them, but there was somebody who was actually trying to rile the crowd up and talking about how Bernie Sanders got assaulted.
I heard a rumor about that as well.
Yeah, that was something, like he was acting like they did a mic check, and they were trying, and like they got the whole crowd to try to look on their phones for Bernie Sanders getting assaulted, and they were trying to hype the crowd up, and like they were trying to, they tried to talk to Billy, try to get him to announce it to the crowd, and Billy just shut him down, just said that's not true after looking at the guy's phone, and said, and everybody clapped, and we were all like, right on, Billy, don't let the aggravatedness spread. Don't let the anger spread.
So you're filming these guys in black. You have a very strong suspicion that something's going on, and then what happens?
So
You just happened to. I mean, you were just totally lucky that you happened to be standing next to them. You're just standing on the grass in the median.
yeah, we were standing on the grass in the median, filming the guys because we felt that those were the people. I had another gentleman who was actually filming them from the other side, and he actually got my conversation with one of them when I was talking to them, and we were just filming them, and all of a sudden we had a few people break away, and it looked like they went and maybe that's when they went and through the water balloons and checking the fence, and then you saw one gentleman, you'll see in the video, he comes back and goes like this, and I actually zoomed in and actually managed to zoom in on that particular part.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Of when he actually comes back and goes like this.
So he sort of went to
Yeah, he didn't even have a mask on.
reconnaissance to the spot to make sure it was the exact spot, and then he said it's time, basically.
Yeah, and he didn't even have a mask on or anything. He just came back and went like this, and then they all lined up. The girl with the microphone just continued talking, and they were tapping like the rim of a drum. All of a sudden, I guess it was like the prepared to get readiness, and then the second
the signal.
Exactly, and then the second that she stopped talking, she stopped yelling through her microphone. That's when all of a sudden you'll see them just rush.
Mm-hmm. And then you follow right behind them.
I followed them right in.
And he's like, and his father's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of my son running right into the middle of the most dangerous thing in the entire convention."
Exactly.
I did the same thing the night before, so, which is another video on Citizens Media. I think it starts out. It's called "Bringing the Peace." Please read the description ahead of time so that you have a context. But yeah, I'll let you guys get back to it.
So now you start running after these guys. Where are you? Like, are you just sort of following him?
No,
I had actually started to back away at that point because I had noticed, like I said, I felt it ahead of time regardless, and I wanted to keep at least a certain amount of distance. So I was slightly further back and looking from a elevated position and just watching it from there.
Did you like hug each other and said it's been an honor and a pleasure?
It's
been an honor and a pleasure serving with you, sir.
It was the craziest thing.
After the fact, this is just after what happened, not on video or anything, but when we finally found each other, because he was calling me while I was doing it, and I wasn't going to just stop filming what was going on to answer his call, even though I know he just wanted to know I was safe. But when we finally got back together, we hugged it out. We were so happy.
Yeah.
And then we had problems finding our other friend who was also video filming, and he was actually in it with me.
All right.
And
all right.
we
So
all hugged it out.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it was really intense. So okay, so you run in right behind them. You see the gate just open in front of you.
It just blows open, and you see it it just starts to separate, and then all of a sudden it just swings in. You see these
It,
people.
it blows out,
Yeah.
and then the cops are like instantaneously pushes it back, pushes it in
Yeah.
towards the crowd. The cops come in.
And then you also see the Bernie, and you can tell that it wasn't the Bernie supporters because immediately after the gate breaks open, you see the Bernie crowd just part. Like, and that's one of the reasons why it's such great footage is because the Bernie supporters just part to either side, and you really only see
Pretty much assist the cops. I mean, they
Exactly.
pretty much assist the cops
Yeah.
back away and you know.
hold back the people who they actually and you might be able to see some of this in the video. People start chanting "Keep the peace" before it even happens. They see these people rushing
back
the
away.
fence.
Yeah,
And
and the
they're
only,
trying-
I do see some. I mean, it's a. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
capture it any more clearly than you did, but it is still. It's not totally clear who actually goes through the gate.
Yeah.
But it seems to be that none of the people who were already there peacefully all
Yes.
week long go through that gate and
No.
it's like, oh, cool, we can now rush the cops.
No.
But at least a couple of the people dressed in black seem to have gone.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, they got through. They didn't get very far though.
So we're gonna watch the video and narrate. You're gonna narrate this without stopping. But generally, what happens is the cops come in. They line the gate between the supporters.
Yeah,
and
they start on the inside now.
They line the gate on the inside to put a space between the supporters and the gate so they could fix the gate. And then a line of bicycle cops. So I'm guessing there's 100 cops standing, and then maybe 50 bicycle cops line behind them between the cops and the gate. Supporters, cops, bicycle cops, gate. Then they put a mega chain onto the gate.
Oh, actually, so what completely happened? We had the bicycles that came behind the cops, and after the bicycles came behind the cops, actually the cops got back behind the bicycles. So
And then they moved the crowd like maybe 10 feet away. They
Yeah,
stepped
like,
forward with
they-
their batons in their hands, and they said, "Step forward," and
Yeah,
all the
that-
cops stepped forward,
Yeah.
just to give them space to fix the
and
gate.
we the peaceful Bernie supporters were also trying to keep back anybody who might have been trying to instigate anything against the cops. You had a few outliers out there, and we were just keeping everybody back. We wanted to keep a nice distance between us and the cops. So you might have, you can probably see a little bit in the video there that we have about 1 to 2 feet across the line between us and the cops. That people are just holding that line, keeping the distance, shouting "Keep the peace."
I had a few reports of, and I sort of saw reports of cops sort of trying to knock phones out of people's hands. But beyond that, again, Philadelphia cops could not have done a better job in this incredibly difficult situation and throughout the entire week. Nothing but positive for them. And then 20 minutes later, so they used bolt cutters, which you couldn't capture on film.
No, I didn't
But they
get
used
that.
bolt cutters, according to multiple reports in
Yes.
my live feed. They used bolt cutters to cut a small chain that was connecting two pieces of the fence together, pushed it open to the cops, like we said. Then the cops put a mega chain to replace it. And then within 15-20 minutes, the cops all left and went back to their original positions on the other side of the gate. But now instead of 150 cops, now there's 400 cops.
Oh, there's
Plus all the cops on the inside and crazy.
there was so
There was
many.
buses on the perimeter because I came in after the incident had occurred, and if things had gone a terrible direction, it was going to be chaotic. There was
Busloads of cops, you said.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was, not an exaggeration.
They were
At
not
some point,
observable
there
from the
was
crowd.
1,000 cops all
Yeah,
around
there
us.
was
A lot on the other side, a lot on this side. I saw the chief of police. The chief of police was there. I'm pretty sure that's who he is. I might have the position wrong, but he was in our government meetings with the Philadelphia government, with Philly FYI, when we were organizing this stuff. He was there. I saw Philadelphia counterterrorism people there. I saw, I forget what they were called, but they were not wearing uniforms, but they had some sort of thing where they were basically reconnaissance, as best as I could tell, after the fact of trying to,
So, and then after that, like I said, you had a lot of people that sat down just to show that they were being peaceful. You'll see in my video, I actually started interviewing 1 or 2 gentlemen in the crowd, just asking them if there was anything they had to say. Actually, at the point that I'm interviewing one of the gentlemen there, TYT comes over and starts interviewing one of the gentlemen that I was interviewing. And I got their interview on my camera from a different perspective.
Okay, so I think it's time. Why don't we
That's
watch the
pretty
video? It's a 16-minute video. We're only going to watch about the first. We don't even need to watch the first. Well, I think we should watch the whole first 8 minutes.
Yeah, sounds
And
about right.
then we're going to put the raw out there as well so you can see it for yourself. But we're going to narrate it now. He's going to narrate it now. So
Do you want me to get
just keep
it
filming
in?
us since she's going to rip the audio off of this.
Okay.
So this is the part where we just basically started filming. And you see me panning.
Because it's the beginning of the video.
Yeah, because it's the beginning of the video. So you see me panning back and forth at the beginning because I'm not trying to be like overly.
But you can already sense. You filmed because you sense something.
Exactly, but I'm not trying to be like directly on top of them.
That's not good. I can't get a bearing of where we are. Like, where's the gate breached? Here?
Yeah, so the gate's over here in this area, and we're in the median, and there's like there's the barricade over there.
So where's FDR Park?
FDR Park's over in that direction. See the buses over there?
Okay, so through that red light on the right side of the screen
Yeah.
right now, FDR Park is in that corner.
Yeah.
And the breach happened was off the left side of the screen right now. And right there in the center of the screen is where the breach happened.
Exactly.
Actually, the spot where the gate gets a little bit higher.
Yeah. So.
So on the left side of the screen, you can see the gate, and then all of a sudden
you
it
can
gets
see-
a little bit
So
higher.
you see that guy with the mask on the back of his head?
The white mask
Yeah,
walking
the
to
white
the right.
mask. That was actually one of the guys who he was one of the leaders, I'm pretty sure, and he was going to scope out the gate. And he's like makes a few trips back and forth, and you can see him out in the distance, just going towards the gate.
Okay.
You see this gentleman here with the gray tank top.
Oh.
No, this gentleman.
This
gray
guy.
Tank top with the bald top and the sides.
Okay.
He's a gentleman who's going to eventually signal to the crowd that it's time
Oh,
to
so
go.
so this gentleman right here in black with the long, with this guy, the bald head, but across from him, talking directly across from him, they're starting to gather people with black uniforms.
Yeah, and you have other people talking to them, like trying to either want to keep the peace or they're trying to actually get other people on board with their.
Okay, so you're right next to this group. So these people in black they're starting to talk about it,
Yeah,
and now
and then you got that guy heading off. He's gonna get called back. There, you have the woman with the megaphone's going to start chanting him now, and she's part of the group. I'm pretty positive. So
Alright,
you see
so
them
people
all
with the
start-
black,
yeah, so they're
right
all
in front of
starting to line
us.
up
So
in
I
the
see
same
three,
direction.
1, 2, 3, 4 people with masks and totally dressed in black right now.
Yeah,
This woman with a megaphone.
Oh,
Oh, the
you
guy
got-
with the white
guy with the white.
guy with the white thing on his head. So the anonymous mask right on the back of his head. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I see at least 5 people. So the
Seven, like you've got.
but I mean actually
yeah.
dressed in black. I mean there's a lot more that are
Yeah,
involved.
so some people are dressed in black and like
I mean fully,
yeah,
completely covered in black from head to toe.
Yeah.
There seems to be about 5 so far. But there's a lot of other people that are working with them.
Oh yes, definitely. So you have again, you have the guy in the white mask coming over and spreading more word to these guys. You have this other gentleman right here with like the big hair right
The
behind him.
anonymous mask on the top of his head.
Well, the guy right behind him, he was into it too. He was talking with them. I don't know if he's trying to stop them or what. I don't remember whether or not I see him rushing in. Soon you'll see the guy we saw earlier in the tank top come back and signal them. You can kind of hear the audio here a little bit if you
So
raw.
the gate is off to the left of the screen right now. They're going
Yeah.
to rush towards.
And you can, and if you're watching the raw, you can actually hear some of the audio where the leader's telling you that it's about to happen. There we zoom in, we see the guy giving them a signal, then you hear them start banging on the rim of the drum.
Oh, so he sort of
saying it's about to
He,
happen.
I think he signaled the drums to start, and
Yes.
now they go.
And then the girls stopped chanting right before they went. And then you see other people around the outskirts also rushing in simultaneously that were part of the group.
They're filming. They're prepared to film this. That's what
I
they're
mean,
doing.
You see people rushing in that didn't actually have cameras.
But some people are
Yeah,
clearly,
some people
with
are.
cameras, knew that this was
Right.
happening, and they're going in to film it happen.
And then you see the fence break open.
Yep.
And the cops just...
Yeah, I don't think anyone except for the people in black ran out of the gated scene.
No.
I don't see any people that were already there.
And then you got
that-
the helicopter that was already there. It's already got a spotlight on it. That's me start yelling, keep the peace. So you've got massive amounts of coverage now because everybody wants to get coverage after the fact. There come they're trying to get the cops.
So they got one of the guys in black. They just got one of the guys in black that were walking them across.
And they're getting cops out to the fence.
There's so many cops already in there. They were so fast. The cops were so unbelievably fast. And how is this person not getting caught? This person seemed to be part of it. There's
Oh, yeah.
one at the bottom of the screen, and she got lucky. I think it's a girl. She got lucky because the cops are not jumping
Yeah.
all over her.
I didn't even catch that until just now. And then we're trying to separate these people. We're trying to get the...
And you can clearly see that the people that have been there all day long. I mean,
Yeah.
how do I know truly? But
We're just trying to get...
they're
people-
trying to assist the cops and get out of here, get
Yeah.
away from them. They need their space.
Yeah, that's what you see me as a camera guy doing right now. I'm just trying to get...
Are you
us-
the one that said sorry, dude? But you got to
Yeah,
get out
yeah,
of here?
that's... You see my arm with the watch, and that's me trying to just get people... Keep some distance.
Keep your distance.
Yeah, that's... I'm just trying to make sure people have about 2 feet of distance between us and the cop. So you can see these cops are a little nervous.
I mean, why
Like,
wouldn't they
I mean,
be?
Of course
you know?
they would be, yeah, like,
And they know they're being filmed.
yeah. And, yeah, like I said, you can see we've got a nice, clear distance between us and the cops. Everybody's trying to make sure that it's just nice and a good distance between us. And we're trying to be nonviolent on both sides, us and the cops.
Yep, and now you see the bicycle cops have come in.
And you see
So
people.
there's a whole bunch of standing cops and then a whole line of bicycle cops, and somehow they're fixing the gate, which I couldn't capture. So they cut a small chain with bolt cutters, and now they replaced it with a crazy chain, really thick. And you were way back at this point. You were at the original spot.
Yeah,
You
I was
didn't
at the
wanna-
original spot at this point.
So now you see the cops are getting behind the row of bicycles. And then they're moving the bicycles up to where we had the line preserved. I mean, this is an excellent job done by the cops.
Yeah,
It's,
I mean,
it couldn't,
just-
it couldn't have been handled better.
yeah, I agree. I've heard nothing but good stuff from them, about them. Okay. I mean, unless you feel like there's something that we're gonna miss, I feel like that we've
Yeah,
gone through the important part.
That's pretty much all of the exclusive coverage.
All right. Do you feel? So let's stop this. Pretty much covered all of it.
No, we covered pretty much most
All right.
of it.
So
It
then
happened-
we'll just leave it at that. So we're gonna put the raw video out so you can see it for yourself. It's much longer than this. Has some interviews in it, I believe, afterwards.
Yes.
But there you go. So this is unless the group that was actually organized it filmed it actually happening. I don't think you can see anything else that's clearer than this. So Philadelphia protesters were great. They did not participate. They did not rush through the gate. Only this and I don't know who they are, organization, ran through the gate. They cut the bolts. Cops were great the whole time, and we'll see how the media spins it, but this is the truth. So thank you very much, Sam,
Thank you very much.
and thanks for the insight of what that you
Yeah.
sensed to do this. Nani, thank you, sir.
Awesome.
And keep following us on Citizens Media. Thanks.